Okay, looks, right, I'm just looking for more bugs now. So that's, I don't know what we can do to find bugs. Put a macro here. Slice the macro. Slicing a macro. Okay. Okay, I found one already. For some reason. What? Oh, come on. Why? Why? It is there. You can see from the CPU usage it's like 16% compared to this one. Slightly lower because it's not doing the real-time DSP. So yeah, it's just not baking the macro. What if I do this? What? It did so much baking. Okay, I've broken stuff even more. Okay, I need that print back then. The print is here. Do this. Put it into a macro. Slice. Huh? What was the problem before? I did this and then this. And then this. And then a slice in the middle. Okay, interesting. So when I change this pitch, this is where we're up to at the moment. Change the pitch. Oh, it creates clones when you do a slice. Creates clones when you do a slice. It's always been that way. So when you slice a macro in two, when you slice a macro into it, it creates two separate macros. But the contents of the macro are cloned. I can't remember if it's always worked that way. The content, they're separate macros, but the contents are cloned. Has it always worked that way? I think it has. I think it's always worked that way. I don't know if that's. I mean, sometimes you would want that, and sometimes you wouldn't. So it's one of these, like many things that I guess should be an option, like a toggle in blockhead. is I'm accumulating a larger and larger list of things that need to be toggles, and eventually we're going to have this just like giant, like at the moment my only toggle is snapping, where the things snap on the workspace. You can turn it on and off, but a number of things that need to be toggles, like this toolbar, is going to be like so massive. Yeah, going into the future, I don't know, there might be a better way to handle that kind of thing. Because it's like there's no right answer. What should happen when you slice a macro? Should the contents be cloned or copied? I don't care what your answer is, because there isn't a right one. Sometimes you would want one situation, sometimes you would want the other. Anyway, what was I was trying to figure out why the baking is not working. So when I change the pitch, change this one. I'm talking fucking bollocks. No. It's not creating clones of the contents. It's creating copies, but there's two instances inside each mesh. I'm getting so confused. It's not creating clones. That's not true. It's creating two copies of the macro, and each macro has two instances of the sampler. That's why I was getting confused. I'm just stupid. Like Blockhead really needs a more capable engineer working on it, like somebody who actually understands what Blockhead is, because I don't. I don't understand how anything works. So what happens when I change this? It's going to change this instance and this instance. It didn't though. I can see that it didn't. It's not changing it. Okay, I changed my mind again. It is creating clones. Right, what's happening is it's this and this are the same. -2, yeah. It is creating clones. Again, I got it wrong again. I got it right and then I got it wrong. Now I'm getting it right. So my assessment of what macros are doing when you slice them originally was correct. You get two different macros, but the contents are cloned. Okay, that is true. So when I change this, I'm changing this, but I'm also changing the instance in here. Okay, so that's why I'm getting... Picks this one, then this one. Then the internal ones. That makes sense, yeah. Then it did this one again for some reason. Why did it do that? Why did it do that one twice? And then it bakes some macros. 236. 236, 236. Which is this one. So something's going wrong. So there's two problems I see here. The internal sampler block ref 233 core ID 273 gets baked twice for some reason. Two, three, three, which is this one. That gets baked twice. I don't know why. And then 236, 236. This one gets baked twice, and this one gets baked 0 times. So I'm assuming that when I did the slice, the baking graph got into some invalid state. Internal sample block graph. What is going on? Right, how do I even begin to debug this? Let me think. This much is correct. It bakes that, then it bakes that. That all makes sense so far. Then it's baking the internals. That makes sense. That makes sense. This doesn't make sense because it should already be baked. This coffee's going very cold, so I'm just going to down it now. Okay. I don't know how to debug this. This is correct, this is correct. It must be the baking graph getting itself... Maybe I can simplify the problem by doing this. Okay, it still doesn't bake, that's good. So now what's going on? When I modify this pitch here, it started here. It did 3 baking tasks. It baked this, and then it baked this 2 times. And then it didn't bake the macro at all. Okay. It must be the baking graph that's got fucked up. But even if I've observed the baking graph being wrong, I would have to figure out I would still have to figure out how it gets into that state. Okay, let's just see what happens here. So let's have a look at this loop. So change the pitch. And what happened? I'm triggering 227268, so that's... Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense so far. Clear the baked data, trigger the dependence. Should be baked, yes. Okay. And what are the dependents? No dependents here, that makes sense. This one has dependence because it's 268, which is the internal. So the dependent is the output of the macro. Should be baked. Should the macro be baked? If it should be baked, true. So it adds the macro output to the baking node list. So then it goes again. It's got the macro. Should be baked. Yes. Dependent. What's the dependent of the macro? Nothing. Okay, that makes sense. All of that makes sense. That seems to be working correctly. So at some point after things successfully bake, it goes to here again. Trigger baking no dependence for 227 output. There shouldn't be any dependent for this. No dependent. Okay, that makes sense. There it goes, that one. No dependence for 268. Okay. So 268 is the internal, right? Yeah. There should be one dependent, which is the macro output. We should already be in the baking list, but it doesn't matter really. So it adds the macro output to the 35 output, yeah. Okay, I'm happy with that so far. Blah, 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 blah. Does that, yeah. No dependence for the macro. Okay, so far I'm happy. Now, what did we just bake? The 268 output. You did it twice. So there has been a problem already. Okay, I need to go again. I need to start all that again. Change the pitch. Blah, 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 blah. Does all this shit. Yeah, right, I don't care. Okay, let's just go. Go, 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 go. So just baked the sampler. Ref. Okay. Now it just baked the internal. Which has one dependent, which is the macro output. Okay. And that has no dependence. It just baked it again. I just saw in my output it baked it again. I don't know whereabouts that's happening. I can see that, okay, it must, the issue must be in here then. So let's instead put a breakpoint in here and see what's going on. Not yet. Oh. Wait. Okay. Nothing's happening right now. But there's two things stuck in the baking queue. Which should never happen. We should never, if nothing's happening, and then I just put a breakpoint into this loop, it shouldn't be hit. So stuff's getting stuck in the baking queue, which is a classic blockhead problem. 235 and 268. 235, 268. 235. What's 268? 268. Oh, 268 is the internal, I can see here, the internal sampler. Okay. So the macro output is stuck in the baking list. The dependencies, it has one dependency. 268 output. It should be baked, and it is. Oh, what happened there? 269. What's 269? 269. That must be this one. Well, I can't see it here. It must be this. Two 269. So that the internal for that is never being baked. It seems. Ah. It seems this is actually the issue, I think. So what's going on here? Two 269, yeah. Two 228 and 269. Yeah. Shh. Wah. Ah. Ooh. Hold on. Right. Okay. 228 should be baked. 269 shouldn't be baked for some reason. Sampler. What's wrong with it? Oh. 484051. 484051. It's because it's outside the range of the macro, which so it makes sense that I'm excluding it. Yeah, it does make sense. Yes. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. This makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. So there's two things I could do. I could either fix the problem here, or I could fix the baking graph to not add the. I suppose I should fix the baking graph. Okay. So the problem is, I have to figure out what the dependencies are of the macro output, the baking dependencies for the macro output, and so part of that is I just look at all of the audio sources inside the macro, and I'll say every single one of these is a dependency of the macro output. But I'm not excluding the ones that fall outside of the range of the macro. Which possibly I was doing that previously in the old version of this code. And the logic got lost somewhere along the way. So output dependencies here Get all workspace calls shallow. All right. So I should just filter this list to be so equals outside macro range. I pass it M. And this. What are you complaining about? What? What did I type wrong? Callback is the thing, isn't it? Oh, maybe I only use that. Yeah. Somewhere I have that type, but whatever. Right. Do I have the of course outside macro range? I think I have to take into account the data offset and all kinds of things. Is there a simple way to do this? Is there a simple way? Using the absolute position. Yeah, I can just use the absolute positions. So macro, okay. Macro abs big will be absolute position macro size is end. Okay. Wait, I think I have a get range. Oh yeah. I should just use that. Okay. So to macro range equals get range use edges on macro ID. Mm-hmm. And then we do what? Cause erase, remove if, and is outside macro range. Like that. If range end now I'm just thinking about something else. When it comes to this point where it actually checks here, all it's doing is checking the size of the block. If it's off the right hand side of the macro, then it basically gets truncated. That's why this evaluates to true. If it's like halfway off the edge of the macro, then the size of it gets truncated. And if it's all the way off, then it'll just be 0. So does that work with what I've done here? Whatever, I think it's fine. I think this is fine. Okay. Let's do that. I'll just replicate what I did before, which is this, and then this, and then this, and then we do a slice. Now we wait. We watch all this happen. Okay, same issue. So I assume it's stuck in the baking queue again. Down here. $181 and $147. $181. $147. This is 147. I assume 181 is going to be the internal version of this one, which is never being baked. $181 should not be baked. So same issue. But the problem is 147 has that as a dependency. 180. 180. And 181, yeah. So my change here didn't work, it looks like. $180, $181. Oh, now it filters it. But it doesn't rebake. So what's going on now? It's still just stuck. It never manages to escape this loop, that's the issue. And so it's not getting new versions of the baking graph coming through because it doesn't actually escape this loop. Okay. So at some point this is going to happen when I slice micro ID 163. I don't know if this is the right hand one or the left hand one. I think this is the right hand one. Okay, that successfully filtered it out. Then we continue. 164. Again, it filtered it out. So what's the problem? This is not even happening anymore. This should rerun. No, the baking graph should update when I change the size. Hello? Why are you not updating the baking graph? $196, $197. What is that? The fuck is that? 196, 190. Yeah, thanks. I don't know what those... $196 and $197. Ah. Oh. What about 196? What? What are you talking about, man? 196, 197. I don't understand what's going on. You can fucking just fucking go fuck yourself. What is happening? But it's escaping the baking loop now. What? Well, that was a problem. It's good. Oh no, it isn't. It's fine. Seem to have fixed something just by fiddling around with it. When it gets into this point, it's because it's stuck in that baking loop. But I don't understand how it ever escapes. At some point it escapes. I must get to here somehow. How does it do that? How is that happening? Because you... I don't get how it's escaping this loop. If it's stuck, then it should be stuck forever. What? What? This is stuck in this loop, right? It must mean that at some point it's doing this. How is it doing that? We got to here. Oh, because this is the loop. It does keep getting new versions of the baking graph. Oh, I see. For some reason I was looking at this and thinking this was the loop. But the loop is here. Right, now I need to rethink because that changes my understanding of things. Well, I don't like it, but I think it will fix it. I don't like this at all. Unfortunately, I can only hold so many things in my brain at one time. And this requires me to hold a lot more than I have capacity for. Okay, that works. I guess that works. I don't like it. I don't like this. Let's start doing more fucked up stuff. Hold on, let's just okay, let's discard that. Beep, 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 dee, 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 dee. This is not working right. Oh? That works, but this doesn't. Okay, completely different issue I've found now. And that is the manipulation graph. Because there's a manipulator here inside this macro. It affects this one. But it doesn't update when I do this, so... Manipulation graph. Nope, it's called manip graph. Should be this one. Okay, hold on. Stop. What's going on there? Was that... Yeah, I know what that issue is. If you click on the if you're lined up with the right hand edge of the block, it's basically this little resizer widget here, I think, is what's blocking it. It's a really annoying issue. I'll make a note of that. Do we remute should update ping? I think I solved both of those. Population destination widget blocked by resizer. Okay, this works, but this doesn't. Okay. Let's have a look. Core updates. Size 1. Bus update. Size 0. Let's go again. Old buses, found buses, new buses. Old buses, found buses. So we already have a bus. Apparently. Okay, that makes sense. That's all fine. Okay, that's not where the issue is. The issue is going to be in this horrible, horrible code right here. Should go to here and get a graph. Yes. Have these cores moved relative to one another? 103 and 79. Yes, they have. Compile core. So it's all working. 79. Yeah. Compile core parameter. Why is it not working then? If it is working. Compile parameter. will be this one. Nope. Compile core parameter. Here. No parameters. Oh, that's interesting. What? No parameters. What? Is it because I need to... So now I definitely have a parameter. At least one. No, it doesn't find it. Block parameters. This is a bit weird. Didn't like this. Block parameters. Size 2. But none of them are this one. Wait, 62. 62? Huh? Wait, what happened? Block ID 62. Excuse me? Well, that's clearly not right. It should be 104 if you look at this. Sampler block 104. What's 62? That's the manipulator. Ah. Wah. Okay. Compile core parameter. It's going to be in here somewhere, isn't it? Yeah, I see the issue. Init parameter. This is all wrong. Init parameter, yes. Is it? Core ID. Yeah, it is wrong. Ah, I didn't mean to click that. Okay, core ID here. That fixes it. This one should be gone. What was I doing? My mind went blank. Let's do it like this. If that works. That works, but it's jittery for some reason. Why is it jittery? I guess it's just the... This is not jittery, but this is jittery. Well, I guess it's just because it's multi-threaded now. I guess I never noticed this. The fact that it's multi-threaded and in debug mode. So it slows it down a little bit. But anyway, if I do this, then it's fine. Okay. If I dump that into a macro and then create two, this should affect this one. And it does. It by the looks of things. Whoops. Well, they affect each other. And this gets affected by both of them. Beautiful stuff. Lovely stuff. As soon as this gets over here, it should stop baking over and over because it's not intersecting with this one anymore, which has the other manipulator. But as soon as it gets underneath, it will start rebaking again. There we go. Blockhead, everybody. It works. Everything makes sense. Whatever.